Waiting for you to arrive again.
Hey guys, Ben Wheeler, the Mercenary King, here with my take on a Chaos Breaker build. Some ways it's very generic, in other ways it's pretty interesting. It has a lot of lock potential, a lot of card advantage potential, as well as Legion, which helps prevent things from getting out of hand. I don't really have any of the Chaos Breaker strides, but honestly, I'm not as fond of them as I am other things, and so I'm just going without. However, do run for the Chaos Breaker strides. They do a lot of work, especially since this guy doesn't really do as much as he used to in a Chaos Breaker build. So we start off with one Involution Starvader Carbon. Put this unit into the soul if your opponent has a lock card, and by the way, they will. It's very easy to give them a lock card in this build. Grade 1 or less Starvader, not named Evolution Starvader Carbon, call it a Rearguard Shuffle deck. Basically, you search out him for Chaos Breaker. Flip. I run 3 crit, 2 crit, 4 Paradigm Shift Dragon, which is put this unit on the top of the deck. If you have a Vanguard, it's an act, by the way, from Rearguard Circle. If you have a Starvader, your opponent has a lock card, choose one of your opponent's back row units and lock it. Basically, you lock something in the front row with Chaos Breaker. You play Evolution Starvader to get Carbon. You play a couple of him to lock the back row. 3 Ferris. Little cat things. Probably should run crits or something, but I like him just fine the way he is. 4 heals. 2 Turmoil Starvader Zinx. Act. Put this unit into the soul. If you have a Vanguard with Chaos in the name, your opponent has a lock card. Soul charge 2, unflip 2. Damage. Basically, it's to make sure that Chaos Breaker just keeps going. I only run 2 though, because she is a minus, and you can't always take care of it. All of these are good choices to choose, and she's just one of them. Volt Line. When this unit attacks its Vanguard, this unit boosted. Choose a locked card, and your opponent cannot unlock it. I run 3, but I don't really need him. I basically run him because the secondary part of this build is to keep things locked, so I don't have to deal with them yet, as well as to delay it, and so that I can go from this guy to this guy, who's funny. I use him to boost an Osmium, which also has the same ability. So it's a 16k, and oh my goodness, 16k, and they can't unlock, which means it gives me plenty of time to just ride over a Chaos Breaker. 4 Charcoal, so I can get Chaos Breaker's ability off. Chaos Breaker is the main Vanguard, however, I will not snub my nose at running Imaginary Plane. 4 Palladiums for the perfect shields. 3 Osmiums, which is Voltage at grade 2. When this unit attacks its Vanguard, choose one of your opponent's lock cards, and that card cannot be unlocked during their end phase. Only for 1 turn, though. So, it's pretty great. Chain Battle Starvader Technetium. 3 of him. Discard a Starvader. When this unit attacks, if you have a Vanguard with Starvader, plus 5k. This unit attack hits a Vanguard. Soul charge 1, unflip a damage. When this unit attacks, if you have a Vanguard with Chaos in the card name, plus 2k. This is Chaos Support. Counterblast 1. This unit is placed on Rearguard, and your opponent has a lock card, and you have a Vanguard with Chaos in the name. You pay the cost if you do lock a Rearguard. He's pretty good. I don't really run him when I'm running Imaginary Plane. I sort of keep him around, use him for stride fodder, or wait for Chaos to show up. It's one of those things. I don't really need to use him all that often, but when I do, I need to use it just right. Plus, he's 11k, which is nice. Because none of my Rearguards really gain boosts, that's not as important as other things, except it does really let him hit cross rides, doesn't it? 3 Colony Makers. Counterblasts are a little bit heavy in this deck, but I do like her for the fact that she can fill out my field very easily and very quickly. Probably one of the best investments I ever made into Vanguard, this card, and she does a lot of work. Counterblast, search for a grade 1 Starvader, call it to Rearguard if your opponent has a lock card. Colony Maker, and then you run Volt Line. Because you already used Involution Starvader Carbon to, summon out a grade 1 that, like a charcoal. Let's see here. 4 imaginary plane dragons with Osmium, Legion. Counterblast 2, if this unit Legion, choose each unit in your middle column. Legion Mate, Legion, and Booster. So in other words, you could run Osmium, Imaginary Plane, and Evolution Starvader Carbon, and you lock a unit for each of them, and then you use Evolution Starvader Carbon's ability. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, plus 2k. So it's a 22k unboosted, 29k boosted. That can do a lot of work, a lot of damage to your opponent, a lot of locks. Because Osmium and Voltage Line are a thing, because they can be summoned, well, the Voltage Lines can be summoned out, Volt Lines can be summoned out and given as boosters to things. It can make your opponent have a couple lock cards left over so that Chaos Breaker can just mop up the rest of them. Chaos Breaker Dragon. This is my prediction. You will beg to be locked. This guy's pretty crazy. Soul Blast a Starvader, Limit Break 4, which won't matter in this build. During your opponent's end phase, when your opponent's lock card is unlocked, you may pay the cost. If you do, retire that unit and draw a card. This ability is pretty powerful. He lost some power while they were running the Messiah stuff, but as soon as they gave him some support, he just shot right back up again. And I dig it. They need a sort of villainous character in their cards, but at the same time, he's just nasty in the sense that he's pretty damn powerful. Counterblast, discard a Starvader. Choose one of your opponent's rear guards and lock it. This ability cannot be used again. But that's fine. So you have to write him first. You get him started. Do this. You use Carbon, and summon something else out. Then you use Colony Maker. Then you use him. And you using up like 2 counterblasts, 3 counterblasts here already. But you got 3 lock cards in most of a field, and you're guaranteed to get those cards. You can get those cards back, as well as for things like 2 more. Zinc, that doesn't really matter too much because you'll get back Soul, you'll get back Counterblast. You just gotta wait and be patient. I would run for the Strides, which was, I think it's Counterblast 1, flip over a Stride. The opponent chooses a card onto a rearguard circle that isn't occupied, or it is occupied, I can't remember, or it doesn't matter. And then you put it there locked. You can look at it, you can choose to a certain amount where it goes, but it is a really great card. And then I think if you have 2 or more G units in your G zone, you can lock another card or a back row card. But actually, I run Messiahs. Yeah. And then I run 4 Big Crunch Dragon, Nebula Dragon, Big Crunch Dragon, Counterblast 1. Choose this number of face-up cards, 2 or more. Choose one of your opponent's rearguard lock column. Cards cannot be unlocked during your opponent's next end phase. So yeah, it's pretty good. It can help you keep things going and nice and locked. It can give you 4 locks. At this point in time, you should be just rolling in all kinds of unflip, draw, and so on and so forth. But if you don't, well, you probably should rethink your deck and, get yourself rolling and all that Soul Blast draw and retires that you can get going. Yeah. Honestly, this isn't one of my favorite decks, but I do like the power, and it does have a certain amount of fun to it. I find that people play it just because they expect it to be powerful, but the thing is that all it does is lock and retire. It doesn't do anything to the Vanguard. It's not like the leaders. It doesn't change your opponent's guard any, just your guard to benefit. So, be careful. Don't let yourself deck out. Been with the Mercenary King. Like, comment, and subscribe. Have a wonderful rest of your day.